probably jump around because there's far too much to cover, and forgive the speed at which I'm going to deliver this content, but I'm starting with the law because that will frame my presentation tonight. There are two sets of governing law that are pertinent to charter school approved: California Education Code and California Code of Regulations. I'll cite those throughout, but I'll start with the County Office of Education resolution that's prepared and in your board packet for tonight, wherein they recommend denial with findings that are based, quote, on provided by state law, and that supports numbers 1 and 2 down there. Essentially, that the petition is an unsound educational program, and the petitioner is demonstrably unlikely to successfully implement the program as set forth. They are, in fact, as noted, quoting Ed Code. This is straight out of 47605B, that says charter schools should become an integral part of the California educational system, and that charter authorizers shall not deny unless specific findings based in the law can be written and presented. And you'll note, as in the resolution, that they are using 47605B1 and 2 to support their recommendation for denial. Luckily for us, California Code of Regulations helps define exactly what this code means. Title 5 California Code of Regulations, sections 11967.5.1, define an unsound educational program as any of the following: a program that involves activities that would present a likelihood of physical, educational, or psychological harm to pupils. And 2, a program determined not likely to be of educational benefit. Those are the only 2 definitions. So I'd like to address those. First of all, very quickly, I think we established last time I was here that there is an absolute need for educational options in this district. Mount Diablo is historically underperforming. If you drill down into the numbers that I covered last time, let's take an example. English learners, a topic that's obviously already come up tonight and it's important to the SPA. If you look at the Mount Diablo Unified School District's performance in 2013, there are your results. There is an educational benefit for options, and perhaps even an argument that educational damage is being done to students that are in Mount Diablo Unified Schools. Only one school out of all their high schools and middle schools had growth, and it was only 1 point. We've established that there's a demand for performing arts in this community, and that also represents an equity issue because there are only fee-based programs and only some have access to that. I think we've clearly established that SPA is unique and innovative. County staff does not seem to recognize that aspect of our program. So in order to help illustrate that, I'd like to differentiate slightly between what arts education programs exist. First, you have arts as curriculum. These are your arts elective, arts for art's sake, completely self-contained. Then on occasion, you have arts enhanced curriculum. You take from the arts and supplement or support your program in some specific way, but not an authentic interdisciplinary collaboration. Then you have arts integrated curriculum. Let me read here. The arts become the approach to teaching and the vehicle for learning. Students meet dual learning objectives when they engage in the creative process. This is what SPA purports to do. What Mount Diablo Unified does is mostly 1 and on occasion 2, arts enhanced curriculum. They are fundamentally different. Let me give you a more concrete example of that. Everyone here, I'm sure, is familiar with UC CSU A to G requirements, organized by subject area and letter classification. You're also, as was mentioned earlier by Superintendent Cicada, probably familiar with career technical education. There's a definition on the CDE website. Program of study with core academic knowledge and technical occupational knowledge combined and integrated. All CTE is based on different industry sectors. The most pertinent sector for SPA is the arts, media, and entertainment sector. Currently, there are over 200 UC CSU approved A to G courses that fall in classifications other than F. I point that out clearly because F is the visual and performing arts category. In other words, to get a classification in another category, let's say math, for example, you have to meet the standards for mathematics and for arts, media, and entertainment. In other words, the course itself is integrated by nature. Of those 200 already approved courses, Mount Diablo offers 0. Period. SPA will offer these courses. This is what we are attempting to do. I've included samples in the response to staff reports, and we will seek approval for new courses. which my team has experience in, fundamentally different, unique, and innovative in our area. You see, we know that art unlocks core content outside of the arts, in math, in English, in science, and it does so for a variety of different types of students. In fact, research upon research validates that there is educational benefits to this kind of program. And the bottom line, without going through each one of the citations that I have there, is that it validates that over and over again. Moreover, it proves that this impact is especially significant for high-need subgroups, like special education students and English learners. This is the program that we want to implement. I just had to note here that the staff report is almost silent on our middle school program. And I think that's because if you try to make a comparison to what we purport to offer in our 6th through 8th grades and what is actually offered in Mount Diablo in terms of performing arts and integrated curriculum, there would be a stark difference. So when you look at likelihood of physical, educational, or psychological harm and a program that has educational benefits, it is quite impossible to base your finding for denial on Education Code 47605B. Moving on. California Code of Regulations also defines what it means to be demonstrably unlikely to successfully implement your program as the following. The petitioners have a past history of involvement with unsuccessful educational agencies. The petitioners are unfamiliar with the content of their own petition or with the law. The petitioners have presented unrealistic financial operational plan for the proposed charter. And the petitioners personally lack the necessary background in the following areas, and the list there. That is the definition of demonstrably unlikely. Let's address that. The SPA team has great capacity. We've noted that in our petition and in our presentations. We know all areas of education. We've built programs like this before, and our track record is one of success. Not only that, we are surrounded by a network of organizations that increase our capacity and our ability to successfully implement our program. You heard from the director of the Oakland School for the Arts last time. He was not able to make it tonight, but he sends his support. We know the law. We know it really, really well. We know that we tick all the boxes in terms of the intent of the legislation. I went over that last time. We know that diversity is important, and it's part of our mission. We stripped the audition process that we had issued with last time because we agreed with your feedback in that regard. We budgeted $35,000 in year one for outreach alone. And we have a plan that's comprehensive, includes all kinds of outreach programs, targets specific community, business, and political, churches, libraries, schools, and other public and private agency networks outside of the other arts professional organizations that we also name. More than 50 total outside of the arts organizations, which obviously we would reach out to as well. Our objective here is comprehensive outreach so that we get a population that is diverse, and it will be our strength. Oh, excuse me. I want to address one of the county budget findings as a specific example. I do not have time to go into all of them. They criticize, and I quote, "There is no budgeted amount for the cost of benefits, longevity, master's, doctoral stipends, and special assignments. Reduced Mount Diablo Unified's mid-range teacher salary, according to the SART, is $61,000, and the state average is $66,895. Please remember that number. That comes straight out of the staff report. We have budgeted our average teacher salary at $55,000. You can tell that there's a difference between those numbers. I did some homework. Let me show you the actual chart off the CDE website where the staff got their findings. You can see the website right down there. Mid-range teacher annual salary, $66,895. You'll recognize that number. Now look at the column that it falls under. Districts with ADA of exceeding 20,000 students. That's not apples to apples. Look at the far column on the left. $55,000 for ADA of less than 1,500. That is what we propose to do. Our capacity is 700 students. This is not a fair comparison. And they're using inaccurate figures to paint a picture. In fact, the budget projections for SPA are based on sound research. We did our homework. We made sure that we had a fiscally responsible budget. I only have 30 seconds left and about 10 more slides. There it is. There is our salary. We also have expenditures in our budget right there in that column, budgeted expenses for teachers, that is above and beyond the salary. This is for stipends, this is for professional development, this is for workshop days, this is for additional hours, that break down a per employee differential of an additional $5,000 per employee on average. Making total compensation with the benefits that we budgeted at $69,000, and then you see the rest of the 5 years. I know I've run out of time, I have other things to talk about, but I want to respect 10 minutes. I'm happy to answer any questions. This is an example of what I have a hard time dealing with in terms of the staff.
Is there a summary statement you'd like to make?
I'd like to suggest that our charter is absolutely compliant with law. I respect the fact that this board and this staff want strong oversight and accountability. And I think that a memorandum of understanding can address all of your concerns in a way that does not substantively alter the charter, but builds in safeguards for your protection and to make sure that we actually meet our obligations. And if in fact when we get to that point and we don't, you have every right to say no. But to say no to this charter, period, is not based on the law. That's my summary. I have one more point. If everyone here would stand up that supports this charter right now to show that we have